What's going
What's
on,
good?
Damien? Let me get your thoughts really quickly, big dog.
Okay. Yeah, what's up, yo? This
Chilling,
is this
chilling.
is interesting because what's up, Q?
What up, boss?
Not much, not much. This is interesting. This is why they need to have more political science courses for in urban schools because I think I'm hearing a lot of people like kind of knowing something and not really knowing something or what have you, and then they're trying to speak on it. It's just crazy because is you're like saying you go to the site and say, okay, where's her policies? Have you been to Donald Trump's site? Same situation. It's
Well,
like
we
it's
don't
this
we
he's
don't we don't need to go to Donald Trump's site because we actually have 4 years worth of insight as to how it
Hmm.
is that he's managed the country. So it's a difference between somebody that hasn't been in a position of power versus being able to look at somebody's track record of how he's handled the country.
well, hold on. What you just said is not true. Hasn't she been a senator for? Wasn't she a senator for four
No, no,
years?
no, no,
Wasn't
no.
she?
It's
No,
much
no, no.
different than being a senator. Versus, see, when Andrew Yang was running for president, he had policies based off of how he planned on presenting certain things to the Congress in order to get things passed through, based off of where he projected the country to be. And
Let me
so
let
it's
me
a
get a.
big
Can I get a
difference.
thought out? Can I get a
I'm
full
sorry.
thought
I'm
out?
sorry. Go ahead. Because my bad. My bad. Go ahead. Get
Yeah,
your
yeah,
thoughts
yeah.
out,
I'm just
Damien.
trying to get the full thought out. All I'm saying is just basically because she has a history of effective legislation. She sponsored 88 bills. She got 44 of them passed in the Senate, and 13 of them were bipartisan. So she has a history of positive legislation as well as bipartisan works. But if we want to get into what she plans on do, it's just hard because people don't seem to know what the vice president's role is. Vice president's role is a standard bearer for what the president has in mind. You find somebody, you have a plan, and you say, okay, I need somebody who's aligned with what I'm thinking, and then I need somebody who's going to help me out, carry. They're the assistant manager of the situation.
So hold on.
And then
Stop
what
there.
happens
Stop
is,
there. Because I want to go
yeah,
point by point that
yeah,
you make. I want to go point
yeah,
by point what you make. When they were debating and they were in the primaries back in 2019, she literally disagreed with every single thing that he stood for until he selected her to become vice president, which means that she were opportunistic and she didn't really believe or stand on what it is that she was debating about.
that's not true because they don't usually develop their overall platform to the two of them get together because you need to make sure the person that you're rocking with aligns with what your vision of the future is. You can't just say, "Here's my plan," and you get with somebody and say, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and have this person be my VP," who totally
She
disagrees with you.
literally
That will
almost
never
called him a
work.
racist at the debate. What are you
She
talking about?
did call him a racist. Yeah.
Well, that
How
was
can you say
that's
that you
basically
agree
what she
with
said
somebody?
when she was
How,
saying. What did you say?
how can you say you agree with somebody who you labeled as a racist?
Basically, people say a lot of things when they're in the heat of battle and they're trying to
Also,
get
she's a
that one
liar.
upsmanship with them.
So she
Yeah.
fake. But okay, I
So
got
she's
Okay,
you.
a
so let
liar.
me get so let me get you. Is that an important point for you, Mika? Somebody needs to be honest
Yeah,
Well, somebody need
because
to
especially
actually
when I'm
she's
paying
a
you.
liar. Okay,
Yeah,
so is Donald
especially
Trump
when
an
I'm
honest
paying
No,
you.
man?
no, 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 no,
Is
no.
Donald Trump an honest
At the
man?
very
I'm
least,
asking a question,
I know I'm gonna answer your question. At the very least,
please.
you need to be honest about what you believe, about honest about what you
Hmm?
stand on. The one thing that you can't criticize Donald Trump about is that he say what he mean and he mean what he say. And if he
No,
don't fuck
is
with you,
Even
that
he
if you
gonna
don't
true?
like
tell.
it.
No, no, no. If he don't fuck with you, he gonna tell you. I don't like
So
them.
you don't think he says what's best for him at the moment? You think he says if I'm going
No.
to do
I
X,
think that
I
two
do it.
things can be true at the same time. You could say something that's best for
Then you
you,
can't.
and
Wait, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa.
you could be real about how you feel about somebody. Listen, if
You
Trump don't
can't
fuck
mean
with
what you
you,
say and say what you mean, and also be opportunistic and not say what you mean
how
unless
can't
it's
you?
Okay, can I
I,
I
ask you a
can
question?
absolute. Hold
Can
on,
I ask
Mika.
you a
Hold on, Mika.
question?
Hold on,
Uh,
Mika.
absolutely.
I can
all right.
absolutely uh be opportunistic and mean what I say and say what I mean. Two things can be true at the same time. Absolutely. I could say you a fuck boy and I don't like you at the same time, understanding that me telling you that you a fuck boy is gonna resonate with the voters because they know you a fuck boy too,
Yeah.
which benefits
When it comes,
me.
when it comes down to it, it's just like it's very easy to find out what she's standing on. Number one, she's going to
Okay,
continue
so we're
everything
gonna
that.
skip that point. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
No, no, no. What's called? It's very easy because you say I'm working on limited time. I would love to address any questions you come up, but it's just I'm probably working on limited time here. is that number one, it's very easy to find out what the things that she's about and what she stands for. Is number one, it's the continuation of the things that her and Joe Biden start because nobody gets to the presidency thinking they're going to be a one-term president. They usually their agenda is usually an 8-year agenda, and then now she has to go ahead and be the torchbearer and carry on the things that he started. Yes,
So,
is
which
her
means that she has to take responsibility for the failures and the things that they
which
didn't do, such as the shit at the border.
okay, let's talk about that.
Hmm.
There was never a definitive
Oh
designation as
Lord.
border. That's something that the media and
Joe
Republicans
Biden
label.
That's
literally
not
said it.
true. You can literally
Joe
look
Biden
in the
literally said
Congress.
it.
You
Let
can
me finish
literally.
this
Okay, go
very
ahead. Go
important
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
She was only asked to give insight, to meet and give insight on three specific countries: Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, because there were a lot of people coming from those countries claiming asylum. So she just wanted to go and get insight for it and then report back. And the stuff that she gave
That's not what
back,
he said
it
at the news conference.
the stuff that she gave, you can Google. This is a very Googleable fact. She was only asked to give information on insight on three countries that people were coming because there was a lot of asylum requests coming from those
You
countries.
can go to the
And,
Congress's website,
and the
literally
information
congress.gov, and it
the
literally
information
lists
that gave him was the information that was used by the bipartisan border bill that was not passed because Donald Trump asked Mike Johnson to not pass it because he wanted
You
to
don't
use
need a
it.
bipartisan border. Okay, so you met the right one today because I can debate every single point that you're talking about.
Let's
You
do
don't
it.
need a bi you don't need a bipartisan border deal to make sure that you're doing what's already allocated for you to do as the president of the United States of America in order to fund homeland security and secure the borders. That's not a bipartisan deal. The bipartisan deal had to do with them wanting to fund Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And so what they did was
They still
they packaged it all in one deal in order to push money through to get things on. If you read the bill had nothing to do with the border. The border was a part of it, which is one of the reasons why they sued Texas for securing their borders. Because Texas is supposed to operate as its own state, as its own unifying body in order to protect its own borders. It's the reason why the United States of America sued Texas. This is actual facts. And so what happened was
Hmm.
what they tried to paint it as is, well, Donald Trump is preventing them from pushing through a bipartisan deal in order to secure the border and put funding to Homeland Security, when in reality it wasn't true. Donald Trump was against sending more money overseas to Israel. And so what they did was they pushed this legislation through in order to try to get them over a barrel because they really wanted to fund and give money to Zelensky. And so they put it all in the same deal. And that's why when you look at this Homeland Security deal, it also includes money over to Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel. And so if you're
did
telling
they
me that no, if you're telling me that it was the Republicans that held it off, the Republicans wanted to separate the issues and they wanted to deal with the money that was going overseas separately from what they wanted to do with the border. And so they use that as leverage in order to get money in order to cover the border so that they can then fund these proxy wars. That's the truth. Don't sit here and tell me
did
because I've
no,
studied the
hold on.
bills. I've read
But did
every last page of these bills.
I,
And if
I
you're gonna sit
absolutely
here
read the
and
border bill as
posture,
well.
no. If you're gonna sit here and posture with me, then you're gonna have to understand that I'm not regular and I don't just talk based off of what Fox News says. I read the actual deals. I read what it is that they present in Congress. I read exactly what it is that they're trying to push through. I'm not one that you think that you could just say that Donald Trump is not even a legislator.
Hmm.
No. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So, to answer your question, if that's the case, two things. Number one, you said a lot. Let me address it. Number one, but all that money to Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel, that money got approved even without the border deal.
It
So,
didn't. It
regardless,
didn't.
it did.
It did
Oh
not.
my God!
It did not.
That's the reason. So
It
the
did
funding to
not.
Ukraine didn't get approved. And
It
you know
did
how I know
not.
it moved because hold on a second. Mike Johnson was in fear of getting. There was a on the board where he was going to be do the same as McCarthy, and then the Democrats went and saved him so he wouldn't get removed from office, removed from his speakership. That's why, and it absolutely did. Google Ukraine funding outside of the border bill gets approved. It absolutely got approved. And number two, all this stuff
Jesus
about
Christ.
you can go to you can go there was Google interviews with uh, uh,
I don't have
Mitt
to read the
Romney.
interviews. I
There's
read the deals. I followed the
no,
actual
I'm saying no,
deals.
I'm saying watch. Watson and Mitch McConnell,
And
they
I've
all
also,
said the
and if
same
you really
thing.
want to talk about
We had
interviews,
a
then
bill,
you
and
also
then
need to look
Donald
at the
Trump
interview.
nuked it.
You listen. Kamala Harris's designation was not just to report to those three countries. If you go back and you
That's the
go
way
to
it was.
2000 and you go to the beginning of 2021, where they were sitting there with those masks over their face, he literally allocated her and gave her a major responsibility, and her responsibility was literally to oversee the immigration into the country and all of these people, these illegal immigrants, especially during the pandemic,
You're wrong. You're wrong.
flooding.
You're just wrong. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. She was only assigned to give information on three countries: El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. It's the only three because there was an inordinate amount of asylum seekers coming from that country. They just want to verify that those things were legitimate. That's what
Asylum.
her
Okay.
assignment was.
All right, give me a sec. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah, so that's the difference. So she wasn't the border czar, and you, if that was the case, all you're sitting there saying, oh, if Donald Trump wasn't the one who torpedoed the border security bill, why did Mitch McConnell,
Hold on. Give me a second.
Langford McConnell, as well as who was the last one, Mitt
Because they
Romney,
want to
all
literally remove the responsibility. It's funny
no,
because you said
all
that her job was literally to basically support the president and what it is that he did as far as his agenda. He failed at the border, but we want to remove responsibility from her at all.
And now to the Biden presidency. President Joe Biden announced Vice President Harris will lead the effort to tackle a sudden surge of migrants at the U.S. southern border.
The announcement came as the federal government opened another emergency shelter to deal with the influx. CBS 4's Danya Backus reports.
If you deal with the problems in country, it benefits everyone.
President Biden is tapping his vice president, Kamala Harris, to oversee U.S. diplomatic efforts to address the recent influx of migrants along the southern border.
While we are clear that people should not come to the border now, we also understand that we will enforce the law, and that we also, because we can chew gum and walk at the same time, must address the root causes.
CBS News has learned the Biden administration plans to use the Freeman Expo Center in San Antonio, Texas, to house up to 3,000 unaccompanied migrant children and convert the San Diego Convention Center into a makeshift shelter for 1,400 minors.
The best way to keep people from coming is keep them from wanting to leave.
A number of Republicans have been pressuring the president to visit the border himself to see the situation firsthand.
For 4 years, we heard Democrats going on and on about kids in cages. Well, Joe Biden desperately does not want you to see the Biden cages.
They have frozen deportations. They have done away with, rolled back the Remain in Mexico policy.
Appearing on CBS this morning, Vice President Harris maintained the situation is a result of Trump-era immigration measures and said a visit to the border is in the works.
Yes, we will go. But the reality also is that in addition to the border, we also need to deal with the root causes.
Due to strained capacity at one sector of the border in Texas, Customs and Border Protection has started to release some migrant families without notices to appear in court.
So help me to understand why she had no responsibility, and her only responsibility, because I can
I
actually
didn't
show
say she
you.
had no responsibility. Let me finish that. Let me
Hold on,
come back to
wait. You
that.
said her only responsibility was to report on those three countries. I can do a little bit more extensive of a video in
I want to
2021
read.
where they live. No, no, no. Where they live
I
stream,
got it right here. Okay, hold
and
on.
she and they. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what's it? Let me just read something again. Since you had something, let me pull up my information. Republicans have falsely called Harris the border czar, which is charge of the entire border. But upon research, the White
It's
House
not
shows that Harrison was
false.
in charge of 3 Central American countries at the border. Biden signed Harris in March 2021 work addressing the root cause of migration from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, 3 countries making up the so-called Northern Triangle of Central America, which has been feeding a spike in arrival of unauthorized migrants. The strategy of the White House was laid out, including
So
improvised economic.
hold on. Stop there.
This
Stop
is
there.
from the
Stop there.
Harvard
Stop there. Stop there.
Gazette,
Stop
and this
there.
was
Stop there.
recently.
Stop there. So you're saying that she wasn't the border czar?
She was not the border czar.
Okay, cool. So this is the Congress website.
That's what he just said.
This is congress.gov. Bill 118th H.res.13.71, where it literally goes through and it breaks down, if you look at it, how under border czar Harris's leadership, literally, it says it multiple different times. Border Czar Harris's leadership on the Congress's website. Congress.gov. This is not my opinion. You can go to congress.gov and search it and look it up.
And I can find the exact same. I'm saying opposition.
That's the
If it says
government.
something totally different. Because this is from the Harvard Gazette.
Virtual high school.
Put it out there that the designation of border czar wasn't a true designation.
Okay, I got you.
This is the government.
Ooh.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No. All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is, do you disagree? Do you disagree with the point? Was my point a valid point that they had a border proposal in place that both Republicans and Democrats were supporting? But is this a fallacy that Trump reached out to Mike Johnson and told him not?
No. Why you want to just skip over that? Why you? Because usually what people talk real fast when they want to skip over you actually pulling the receipts. But okay, go ahead.
That wasn't a question. I said, okay, I'm at a disadvantage because you can pull it up. If I pull it up, I can't pull it on the screen and show you anything. My opposition research, I can't do that. So it's one-sided.
I got you.
Is that true? Is that a true statement?
How do you have opposition against the Congress? I don't understand how you have opposition against the Congress.
Is that
You know what's so funny? And let me ask you a question because I do have to move on because it is late. I only plan on streaming for 2 hours. How come when she gets up and she answers any questions, they intentionally never talk about immigration ever? She never ever always dodges questions, and they never answer questions as to how we got 10 to 15 estimated. Some people estimate it up to be more than 15 million immigrants into this country illegally. How come they never address it? They never address
Who
it.
is that?
That's a lot.
Who's that?
The Biden-Harris administration.
No. Who is they that are not asking these questions? Because she just in her rallies talked about how she was going to prove.
How she was going to what?
One of her major responsibilities when she becomes president will be to strengthen the border.
No. That's not what I asked. Why don't they answer the question as to why they let 10 to 15 million people into this country? And why did they sue Texas and try to prevent them from protecting their borders? And why did they try to force them to open up back their borders?
You said, why don't they ask a question that's not being asked of them? Why don't they answer a question that's not being asked?
No, they intentionally dodge. Come on, man. Don't be intentionally obtuse. Like, let's be for real. Why don't they address what their record is with regard to immigration into this country? Illegal immigration.
The reason that they address their record, the reason that they are, the proof that they are, is that the what is it called? The presidential order he did just a couple of months ago to slow down the immigration process. He was trying to come up with a bipartisan way of doing it that both Republicans and Democrats could get behind. And then
why not just immigration?
You don't need a bipartisan deal to do what you're supposed to do at the border already.
You got to hold on a second.
No. You avoid.
You have to fund it.
Why would they sue Texas to try to prevent them from protecting their own borders?
You have to fund it. Congress is the first.
No. You don't have to fund Texas. Texas said that we want to protect our own borders because the flow of immigration, we on the front lines. Why would the Biden administration, which included Harris, as a result of what you said, because the vice president's job is basically to support in every capacity every single thing that the president is doing. Why would they sue Texas from protecting their borders from illegal immigration into the country?
Let's call it, I don't know.
Thank you. That's all you had to say. No. Listen.
You haven't answered any. You answered zero of my questions.
That's all you had to say is, I don't know. And guess what? As the president and the leader of the free world, because you do not need bipartisan agreement to protect your borders. It is their responsibility to ensure that people get over here legally, not illegally.
You have to get Congress to approve.
You don't.
That's why Trump started building that wall.
I gotta let you go, bro. I gotta let you go. Because I gotta move on. I said that I had limited time.
But you realize you didn't answer any of my questions, right? You just answered questions.
What questions?
You evaded every single question I asked.
We could have got to your questions if you would have just said you didn't know in the first place.
Zero of them.
But you
Zero
wanted
of
to
them.
sit here and pivot and posture and try to make it seem
No.
like, well,
I asked a question,
technically,
and you
they
brought a
never
different
really
question.
designated her as the borders are. Dog, all you had to do
I'm
is be
trying to
real
answer
and
your
say,
question.
listen, she may have done some good things, or when she become president,
What
maybe
was
she'll do something differently, but
what
she
question of
fucked
mine did
up.
you actually
She
answer?
fucked
What question
up.
of mine did you actually answer? None.
If you would have,
You picked it.
no. If you
All
would,
right, let me ask one last
no,
question.
no,
Other than
no,
jump off,
no.
you can ask it in the
You're
back
not gonna
channel.
overtalk me on my own platform. If you would have answered the question, we could have got through this faster. But you wanted to purposely gaslight me and act like you didn't know what I was talking about. And I had to
I
get
think you.
very direct with you with regard to my questions. And then you finally admitted you don't know.
I said I don't know what you asked me. Why did she sue Texas? I said I don't know that
You
aspect
know
of your.
why.
I
You
don't know
know
why.
why. Because they
I
intentionally
don't know
wanted to
why
let,
they
for
sued
whatever
Texas.
reason, they intentionally wanted,
I don't
listen,
just
listen,
people
listen,
stuff that
listen.
haven't researched.
You know what? You know everything except for that, huh?
I don't know why they sued Texas.
You know everything except for that.
I didn't say I know everything. I think I know
You
more
had
about
all
what's
of
going
your
on
you
than
had
you
all
might
of your
know.
bookmarks and your notes, but when we got back to the brass tacks of things, all of a
You
sudden
didn't
you didn't
answer
know.
my question. You diverted my question with your
I didn't
question, and then
divert
it
it.
got diverted. Into
You wanted to gaslight
I
me and
said,
you wanted to
is
waste your
Donald
time
Trump
on talk about
derailed
something
a
that you didn't
bipartisan? You
know.
said you don't need it. You said you don't need a
You wanted to
bipartisan
gaslight
bill.
us. You wanted to gaslight us
No,
in
no.
every way,
You said
in every
you
capacity.
avoided the question. You
I
avoided the
didn't
question.
avoid the
You
question.
avoided the question.
Trump, listen,
Answer it. What was your answer? What was your answer?
Trump and Obama
What was your
deported
answer?
more
What
illegal
was your
immigrants and they had ICE on
I'm
their
sorry, I'm
ass out here
slow.
in these
What
streets.
was your
They
answer?
had
I'm
ICE
sorry.
on their ass in these streets.
I'm
The thing
sorry.
that
What
they blocked
was your
Trump from doing is continuing to extend the border wall and build more efficient ways in order for Homeland Security to continue
whatever? That would
to
never happen
continue to have the
anyway.
tools. Now,
What was
what we didn't see
why
in the
did
last
Trump
three and a
bring
half
up
years,
Mike Johnson
because the one
on the
thing that we
border
know that
bill?
Biden did say, the one thing that we know Biden
Why?
did say, the one thing
Did
we know
he
Biden
why
did
did he
say, the one thing that we know Biden did say is that when
Why
he
did
became
he kill the
president,
border bill?
that he wouldn't
Why
add
did he kill the border
another
bill?
inch of border wall, and then he had to walk that shit
Why
back in
he
2023.
why
So
did he
I gotta go.
kill the
I gotta
border
go.
bill?
I gotta go. I don't
Of
think that you
course.
arguing in
When
good
it's your
faith.
turn to answer the question, you
I
gotta
don't think
go.
that you arguing in good faith.
I'm asking you a question. I just want this question is
Okay,
one
what's
question
your
that you've
question?
never answered the whole time
What's
we've
your
been talking.
question? Because
I
I think I
said,
answered it.
all right, is it true that Donald Trump killed the border bill?
No.
All right, we're not having a good faith conversation.
We are, because he wasn't even the
Google it.
president.
Google it.
He's not the president.
But he's still the leader of the party. What are you talking about?
He's not the president. He's not the
Is Donald
president.
Trump the leader of the
Trump
Republican
cannot
Party in his
no no no
capacity
no
as
no.
a
Let's be
civilian?
clear. Trump can't kill a bill while he's not in
Oh my,
power.
oh my God.
He didn't kill
So
it.
you don't think
No.
that? Okay, then why did
So
Mitch
now that I
McConnell,
answered your
Langford, and
question
what's going to say?
directly, did I answer your question directly? Because you may not like
I
my
want some
answer.
context.
No, 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 no,
That's what I'm
no, no,
saying.
no. See, listen. Because see, I already answered this question. I answered it 15 minutes ago. You didn't like my answer. I see you
Hey,
looking up in the
dang.
sky trying to figure out how to get another question
Hey,
in. You
No, all I'm saying
frustrated.
is this.
I see you looking up
I
in the
just want
sky.
the
No,
answer.
no, no.
I just want you
You
to.
looking
I
in the
just want to know
sky.
why do you think he doesn't
You're
kill it? Why do
looking
you
in
think
the
he kill it?
sky. You
You
looking in the
said
sky
because
trying
he's
to
not the
figure out
president, he
how
couldn't
can
kill a
I get
bill.
Einstein to answer this question the way that I want him to answer it. I
I'm
answered
just
it
wondering.
directly. I answered it
I'm trying
15
to ask.
minutes
I'm just
ago.
trying to understand.
I
How
answered
is
it
it that you
15
are
minutes
so
ago.
informed and you don't know this?
I answered it 15
How do
minutes
you
ago.
not know this?
So
How do you
you
not
so
know this?
basically what you want me to say is because Trump has so much influence over the people that are in power that he effectively killed the bill, but that's not true.
Yes. Yes.
No, that's what you want me to say because
Is that
he's
true
not
though?
in power. He's not in
Okay. All
power.
right. Is he the leader of the party?
He's not in power. Absolutely is the
Is he
leader
the leader of
now.
the party?
He's the leader
Is he leader?
now because
Was he leader when he was
he's
before
the
he was
Republican candidate to be president of
before
the
then?
United States of
Was he the leader of
America.
the party?
And the one thing that we know for sure, and the two things we know for certain, is that we gonna make America great again. Thank you, Damien, for
Yeah.
coming up, big
The
You
dog.
have
one thing
another
we know for
opportunity. I would love to
certain,
debate you.
We gonna make America
If I would
great
love to
again,
debate
Damien.
the one thing we know
you.
for
Yeah.
certain
Hey,
is
I want to go
the
on that
Congress
Monday show if you
website
talk
said
about it
borders
again
are.
because I think there's so much more context to this, brother.
Call
Because
me in tomorrow. I got a whole listen.
Yeah.
I got a whole lot of time to be able to whip this shit into motion.
Okay, let's do it, man. Because y'all, I mean, y'all, it's a lot of lies. I feel like old boy on
Don't get
Leonardo
emotional.
DiCaprio.
Don't get emotional. Don't get emotional.
No. I'm not.
Listen,
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 I don't want you. Don't do that.
Damien,
Don't do that.
Damien,
Don't do that.
Damien,
I've been on Fight Club
Damien,
with you before. I've been on with you. They know that's not how I get down.
Damien.
You took
You
that
gotta,
L, Jay.
Damien, don't get emotional. Strengthen your argument.
Don't do that. This is what you do. This is what you do.
What is
Stop
what
it.
I
Just
do?
stop it.
You took that.
Did I mute you,
It's
Damien?
very.
Did I mute you?
Dude. This is what you do.
Did I
bro.
mute you, Damien?
You try to take it off subject and make it
I didn't take it off
one of
subject.
those.
I asked you a
You are.
direct question. You gaslit me, and I answered your question directly.
Okay. All right. But like I said, there's
What
a whole
question
bunch of,
didn't I
like I
ask?
said, I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio and Django said there's a whole lot of lies been told around this table
Oh,
right
Damien,
And most of them from
don't cite
Kamala.
movies. Don't cite movies. You gotta control your emotions, and you gotta strengthen your argument.
now. You're right, man. I'm too emotional. I'm pulling my hair out. Oops, sorry, it's too late. I'm already bald. Or if I had hair, I'd probably be pulling it out right now.
Oh, don't tell no
So-
corny ass jokes.
Quentin.
Get your ass up
You
out
know.
of here, Dave.